Welcome back. In this video, I'll be showing you how you can design this Pepsi photo manipulation on PixelLab. If you're new here, consider subscribing for more design tips and inspiration. Don't forget to hit the like button and leave a comment below. And to my returning viewers, thank you so much for your continued support. Okay, so now let's get started. So the first thing we'll be doing now is to delete the default text, and we'll go over to import the background we'll be using for this particular design. So I'll just go down to select the background from my image, and I'll go ahead to increase this, and we'll be using the position tool to take this up a little bit. Okay, so now I'll be introducing a grid line so it gives us a guide, and I'll just increase the position, make use of the position tool to adjust the background, the first background we'll be using at this point. Okay, and we'll go over to layers, and I'll be locking this particular image. Okay, so we'll go over to import again, and we'll be selecting the second background. So in this case, I'll just go ahead to crop out this part because I only need the down parts. Okay, and I'll be leaving it like this, and I'll just click on good. Okay, so once I've introduced it, imported it like this, I'll just go ahead to increase the size. So we'll be increasing the size of this, and we'll be making use of the position to select this at the center and be taking it to down. Okay, so once it's like this, we'll be sending, while still clicking on it, we'll be sending it behind the original image. So we'll be sending this to back. Okay, so you can actually use your hand to, from the layers, you can use your hand to send it to back, or okay, as you can see, or you can make use of this to back. Okay, anyone you choose. Okay, so after that, we'll be clicking on the layers again to lock the images. So the next thing we'll be doing now, we'll go over to shapes, and we'll be adding a shape. Okay, so this particular floor can blend with the blue color of the upper image. So for this shape, we'll go over to color, and I'll be selecting a blue color. Okay, so this is the hash code of the color I'll be using. Okay, and I'll just select OK. So the next thing I'll be doing now, we'll head over to opacity. And I'll be selecting the opacity. I'll be selecting the opacity, the percent as 42, and we'll just go ahead to adjust this here, and we'll be increasing the size till it covers this place. Okay, so let's see how this is. Okay, this is okay. So we'll go over to layers again, and we'll be locking this particular shape we added. So the next thing I'll be doing now, also we'll go over to shape, and we'll go over to gradients, and we'll click on this plus button to add a gradient color. Okay, so for this first one, we'll click on color, and I'll be typing in the hash code of the color I'll be using. Okay, so the hash code I'll be using will be 00001A. Okay, so I'll be making use of this blue black color. Okay, and for this first one, we'll go over to colors, and we'll be increasing the transparency like this. Okay, until we have something like this, and I'll just click on OK, and I'll use my hand to reduce the increase this rather, and we'll be placing this here. Okay, let me just go ahead to increase this a little bit again. Okay, so we have something like this. The next thing we'll be doing now is to introduce the image of the can. Okay, so before we do that, we'll go over to layers to lock this particular shape we created. So we'll go over to our import to import the image of the can. So I'll just go over to album to locate the image. Okay, so this is the image of the can. Go ahead to crop this a little bit, and we'll be adding this to the design. Then we'll be making use of the relative position tool to adjust this at the center, and we'll just increase the size a little bit. You can use your hand, you can use the relative position tool, and we'll be making use of the relative position tool to adjust this at the center, and we'll be using the position tool to just send it down a little bit. Okay, so let's see. This is okay, and we'll go over to layers again to lock this. Okay, so the next thing I'll be doing now, I'll be adding a flare. I'll be adding a lens flare around this shape. Okay, but before I do that, to select the shape, we'll select the shape, and we want the shape color to blend with the background. So we'll go over to color filters, okay, and we'll be reducing the hue of this particular can color to -6. We'll be leaving it as -6, okay, and that is okay. So now we'll go ahead to add the flare. So we'll go over to import the image of the flare. Okay, so this is the image we'll be using. This is the image. So we'll just go ahead to erase color. We'll go over to erase color and we'll enable erase color, and we'll select this color picker or eye picker, which one, and we'll click on this good, yeah, and we'll just go ahead to increase the tolerance of these to, okay, we'll be increasing the tolerance to, let's leave it as 65, okay, and we'll use our hand to reduce this. We'll be reducing this and placing it over here, and we'll go ahead to copy this again and we'll be placing this other one over here. Okay, but if you notice, this is not perfect. It's not perfect. It's interfering with the is overlaying the image the can image rather, sorry. So for us to get rid of that, okay, we'll go over to shapes and I'll be adding the shape to this, and I'll just reduce the shape and I'll be placing the shape here. Okay, let me do this for here first, and we'll just reduce it and reduce this other side like this. Okay, let me zoom in so you can see, and I'll be changing the color of this shape to lemon green. Okay, so this shape, I want this shape to is starting from the end point to the end point like this. Okay, and let me just take this up a little bit since it starts from here, and I'll go ahead to increase this other side, and okay, this is okay, and I'll go ahead to copy this shape. I'll copy the shape and I'll be placing it here also, and I'll copy and place it here also. Okay, let me zoom back, let me zoom in normally. So we'll go over to layers, and once we're in layers, we'll be merging everything together. We'll merge everything together, that is, we'll merge the flare and the shapes, and we'll just click on OK. I'll wait for it to merge. Okay, so once it has become one, okay, let's just click on back. We'll go over to erase color again and we'll enable erase color, and we'll select the color picker and we'll be selecting this lemon green, this green color, and we'll just go ahead to increase the opacity tolerance, leave the tolerance at 28. And if you can see, this is smooth, this is nice. Okay, this is nice, and we'll go over to layers again to lock it. Okay, so now the next thing we'll be doing now, we'll be adding images of rocks here. We'll be adding images of rock here, so we'll just go over to import the image. Okay, and we'll go ahead to reduce this like this. Okay, so this is the image we'll be adding by the sides of this design, which is this place, but this is having a background and we don't want it to have a background, so we'll go over to eraser tool and we'll be erasing the part we don't want from this particular image, and we'll go ahead to erase this gently. Okay, so we have this, and we'll just go ahead to reduce the size and we'll be placing this over here. Okay, let's try adding a stroke to this and see how it looks like. Let's add black. Okay, a stroke is not nice, so we'll just reduce the size and place this one over here, and we'll copy this again. We'll copy and we'll be placing this one over here, but this time we'll go over to crop and we'll be flipping this image. Okay, we'll be flipping this image like this and we'll be placing this over here like this. Okay, let's just place this over here and we have this. Okay, let's increase the size of this a little bit. Okay, so let's confirm the relative size is 50. Place this over here, and we'll be doing same for this other one. We'll be increasing the size also to 50, and we'll be placing it over here. Okay, so once we've done that, we'll go over to layers and we'll be locking the images of the rocks. And lastly, we'll be adding the text. We'll be adding the text here, so we'll go over to add a text to this, and I will just be typing in Pepsi. Okay, so we'll go over to change the font of this text. we'll go over to font, and I'll be selecting a bold and a longer font for this text. Click on my font and I'll be selecting this font here, this down font. So click on OK, and we'll go over to size to increase. We'll be increasing the size of this font to 295 or 294. Okay, let's see how it goes. Okay, let's leave this as 294, and we'll go over to 3D rotate. Okay, we'll be rotating this. Oh, sorry for that. Go over to 3D rotate, and we'll be rotating the x-axis. Okay, we'll be rotating the x-axis by 75 degrees. Okay, so this is 75 degrees, and we'll go ahead to opacity, and we'll be reducing the opacity of this text. Okay, we'll be reducing the opacity to 34. Okay, be reducing the opacity to 34, and we just click on OK, and we'll go ahead to send this to back. Okay, but this time we'll come over to layers and we'll be taking this behind here until we are left with it. Okay, and we'll be using the position tool to just position this at the center, and this is it. Then we'll go over to layers. Okay, let's take this down. Let's take the image of the can and the flare downwards, and this is it. Okay, so now you can go ahead to save it. Okay, so this is how to create this Pepsi photo manipulation of PixelLab. Thank you for watching to the end of this video. If you gain value, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell.